to my dance money. I can say, why did girl?
Man from the Leo, GK, but really boiled down to key 10 my ratio. Pumping up and up in my grades like inspirations. I got assurance, so I know that I pay. I check the life lane, but how to four lanes and full blood, suffering the
Welcome back to Camera Farmer. This week, slightly different show. I'll apologise in advance for all the noise outside. Lots going on in the corridor, so I'll do my best. Slightly different this week. I'm going to do a kind of review or show you what's in my bag, what I carry, what equipment that I use when I'm out with whatever camera to take pictures. And this is basically carried with me all the time. So I'll give you an idea, but before I even start that, I want to make it very clear that whatever equipment you've got is good enough. Of course, buying a tool, if you could buy the best tool, now what best means is very subjective. Best for you, best value for money, what you're able to get. That's the right one for you. Also, whatever suits you, whatever you prefer. It might not be what the professionals use or everyone tells you to use, but if you like it, that's good enough for you. So, what I'm going to start with is show you exactly what I carry. Now, the first thing is I'm going to show you a mistake. I have this ridiculously expensive Belstaff bag. Now, I always wanted one for all my camera gear, and I got one years ago. Very expensive, not waterproof, badly made, not worth the money, and certainly not worth what they're going for second hand. This is an overpriced name that you're buying. Now I think it's cool for me, and I use it, but it's all stitched together already. Get a bag like, there's a Polish company that do military bags that are really cheap, and I have one of them, and it's called Viper, or they're called Viper. And they're waterproof, lots of pockets, they're tough as anything, they're really good value for money. Put your equipment in it, you feel safe. Or Crumpler, an old second-hand Crumpler, Australian company. Fantastic camera bags, fantastic courier bags. I have them. I have two of them. I have a big camera bag and I have a courier bag. And they're years old now. I mean, they are 17 years old. And they're still fully waterproof. They look brand new. Wonderful. Find what's right for you, which will protect your equipment. But don't go for a name like I did. I'm not exactly a fashionista, but, you know. Right. The first thing I carry, which is in all my bags, is a notebook. Moleskine. I have a Lamy fountain pen, because they're great and they'll last forever, because you get a lot of ink that you can just pop in them. They're tough. They're great. The little loop on it I made myself. But the reason I carry these, especially when I'm taking pictures, is that if I take a picture and I know what I could do for that, and you're in the moment. If you've got 100 other pictures you're taking, you forgot your in the moment idea for that. So I write it down. I write a description of what I've taken. I write it down, and when I go home or back to the car and I'm working on it, which I do, the idea is there. And it's just, these are the handiest things to have, is notebooks. I go through so many of them because I've got a terrible memory. So everything has to be written down. Next thing, and this is a bit Hitchhiker's Guide, always carry a towel. Always have a microfiber cloth. And I can't tell you what to carry, but I would make sure you had one of these. They clean any moisture off, water, dirt, anything. They're just the handiest thing to have, always in any bag. Of course, I've got my Camp Snap in a Camp Snap case, ready to go, with a strap on it. I made the strap, but that's handy, especially if you're going through uneven ground, or you're just, you don't want to drop your camera. Next thing, my iPad. Now we're going to get to this in the second part of this show. Because this is an old iPad. Someone asked me what generation it was last week, and I told them, and I've completely forgot already. But it's a couple of generations old. I got it when it was on sale for less than 300. I think it was like £250 I got it for, which is expensive. And this was my first iPad. And I'd been using Android. I had NVIDIA K1s, I had Lenovo's, all sorts of different. When I got this works. No matter what you think about Apple and as I did because they're too expensive, these things really work. So what I'm going to do, like that, second half, I'll go over the software and we'll have a look at that. But I use that for all my editing and stuff. And of course, you just connect it to your phone and you can upload them and do whatever from there. Now, before I go into the bag of goodies, something I always have, and this is the way I shoot everything now. I have an old Sony Walkman MP3 player. Now these things, the design's from 15 years ago. They still sell them. But what do you need? You could use your phone, yeah. But when I'm out taking pictures, the phone's away. I don't see it. It's on silent, it's gone. So even picking it up to do something might distract you. So I put this on and I listen to lots of chill music. And now here's the rule. I've got everything caught up. Here's the rule I give myself. So I use in-ear monitors, so I'm not have big headphones or something, and it gives you a very flat response. So I can just listen to music as it was meant to be, as close as possible, without being a snob about it, and just put it on. But that's the key. I'll get an album, and I'll put lots of albums on, but I'll randomly choose an album, and the rule is I have to play it and listen to it all. Even if there's a song that I don't like, play it all the way through. And then what happens when I'm out taking pictures, it's like you've got your own little soundtrack. And suddenly, if you're listening to songs that you're not used to, or you're listening to music that you maybe don't like, you suddenly see things in a slightly different way. It influences you incredibly. So you see things in a different way, and it might bring something out. You'll take something different. I don't know if that really works, but in my head, I feel that's what's happening. So that's one of my most important parts of going out and shooting, is listening to music. I'm like a 14-year-old, what can I tell you? Now, I'll put this bag away. This is Maxpedition. I don't even know how you say that properly. But these little cases are great for putting all your bits and bobs in. They're not the cheapest in the world, but if you've got a birthday or Christmas coming up, put the hints out, and you get them all in different sizes. And I think this is a small or medium. I'm not sure. I've got a big one as well that I get all my cables and stuff in. But this, and if you're wondering what that is, it's Yeti Squad. Again, I'm 14 years old. But anyway, I put all my stuff in this. So what I'll have in it, as you'll see, the first thing I'll point out, some pens, again, another pad, another notebook, a screwdriver. There's little screwdrivers in there, just all your sort of everyday carry. Then I've got all my cable connections. So I can connect directly to my phone, I connect the Camp Snap directly to the iPad, get them straight across and edit on them. Now, this is not an Apple Pencil. This is a £20 knockoff cheap Amazon pencil, and they do lots of them on it. It works perfectly fine. You don't have the barrel turn, you don't have everything, but you can draw, you can do all sorts with this. And especially on the older iPad, these combined together, they work perfectly well. You just charge it, USB-C. It gives you a couple of hours charge, so you could go out and you can charge it from anything, a little battery bank, whatever. But it does last quite a while, and you can just work on your pictures. And I advise you to get one of these, because the difference from using a mouse and a cursor is just incredibly different. It's life-changing to use these. And on my iPad Pro at home, I do have the proper Apple Pencil Pro, I think the new one. and it's incredible. But the difference between, I think it was about £130 for that pencil and this one, it's tiny. It's really tiny, especially what I use. Also in here I have some cleaning cloths. I've just remembered I have a camera in here that takes terrible little retro pictures, and I think I'll do a show on that. I might do that next time. Something I also have, which is vitally important, is a drawing glove. You get these for a few pounds. You get them all different colours, but when you're working on the iPad, you can make mistakes and everything because you're leaning on it, because you're writing. You get one of these for a couple of pound and takes that issue away. I have these all over the place because they're kind of vital, but I carry one with me. Like I said, all different connectors. I have spare memory cards. This is a little tin that has, am I holding it the right way? Oh, it slides. That has extra tips for the pencil in it. Because even though I use the iPad, the Apple one, the official one, quite a lot, I've never worn through a tip, but these I tend to wear through. Also because the screen cover that I have on this is one of the Paperlike ones, and it just wears the tips through, but the tips are only, again, a couple of pound for 10 of them or something, and they just screw on. So you just pop them off and put the new one on, and it's just a very thin plastic, but it does the job. And you know, it's just, these are just little things, and but like I said, get your own way about it. Figure your own. Don't take anything with you. I take this stuff with me, but most people that use the Camp Snap have the Camp Snap. But I run lots of different cameras, so they'll go through that. But it doesn't matter if it's whatever you do is perfectly legitimate. Now, before we go to the software, something I want to say again. I've said it in previous shows, but this is about art. There's no purism here. If you want to take pictures that come straight off the camera and you go, that's what I'm doing, that's as legitimate as anything I'm about to say. I want to do art. So a lot of the things, I get a picture and it doesn't work quite right. So what am I going to do to the sky? And I'm going to pull things out and highlight areas. And some people, that sends them mad because that's not photography. There's no such thing as photography. It's what you do with it. Do you think when you look at a poster or someone's famous face on the side of a bus, that's photography? No, that's a version of photography. So here I want to do art. I want to do fun. Make a piece. If you want to put a dragon in it, put a dragon in it. They're all legitimate. Whatever you decide to do is your vision that you want to get across. Is your vision. So please do it. There's nothing worse than I hate people saying, I only shoot in RAW and I would never touch a picture. What I do in the camp, and you're like, just, there's more to photography than concentrating on like this, the equipment or anything like that. There's an art to it. Enjoy the art. And what makes art good is originality. So you do your thing, whatever it is. Use whatever software, use whatever camera. This is my process. You have whatever process you want. And that'll be fine. It will work. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, I'm going to record the screen of the iPad, and I'm going to show you how I maybe do a picture. So you could see that process, and that might help you, guide you in a direction where you'll find your way of doing it, or you might completely reject that idea, and again, that pushes you in your direction. So whatever happens, this is what will help, I hope, get you in your direction if you're maybe looking for a new one, or I don't know. But I'm just going to do this so I could show you my process. Okay, this is Affinity Photo 2. I keep calling it Infinity. It's not, it's Affinity with an A, Affinity. For the iPad, as I said before, I think it's about £18. It's worth every penny. A lot of the symbols down the side you'll recognise. It has a slight learning curve, but on YouTube, people do so many in-depth in-depth reviews of it. If you just look for something in particular, someone's done something to show you how to do it. So it's very easy to navigate. I've not had any problems with it. And sometimes I get annoyed with this software because it can be a bit clunky, or like Photoshop, it's just really never changed in many years. And but I find this to be it really suits my needs. So what's happened here? I've taken a picture, and as I say, look, if you want to just take a picture out the camera and use it, great. If you want to be artistic and put the Eiffel Tower in the back here, do whatever you want. Be an artist. Just be creative. Do whatever you feel is good. So what I feel here is the sky's blown out. I mean, you could see it a bit, but we could make it a bit more dramatic. So the first thing I would do here is I would actually duplicate this image. So now I've got two. And I'll put the first one off and work on the second one. Now what I'm going to do is be quite over the top with this. I'm going to use shadows and highlights. And if you see, you put the shadows up like that, it makes everything really light, which is, it doesn't look great. But when I'm going to do what I'm about to do, now this looks really terrible. It looks like an old Gary Newman video or something. But it will make sense in a moment. So what we'll do is we'll go back to layers. Now in this it will pop the layer that you've just done in the middle. So what we need to do is move that onto the back image. Now what we do is just simply put the front image on again, and it's like this. Now we go to the eraser tool. We take it down quite a bit, keep the flow up quite high, change the size of it to something that's a bit more usable, and then, oh, see, mistake, I will put it on the foreground again, and then just start rubbing out. I'll get it better shaped. And what to do is use soft brush, so you have a nice soft edge. So I'll do that again, and then just start to rub out a bit of the foreground like that. Just get into the trees a little. That's fine. It doesn't really matter that you don't get it right. So it darkens it down a little. Now what you can do, smaller brush, doing little areas around the tree that are poking through, so it brings it in. So now you can actually look at the shape of the clouds and sort of draw them in. Well, that's jumped to another one. I don't know why it's done that. Soft brush. And you can sort of draw the clouds in. So you see them here. I'm going to take even less off. And just... that's way too much. Change the brush again. It's just a bit of experiment, to be honest. Just keep going until you can get something. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I should be on a razor. Right, okay. This is a bit better now. We'll make it a bit bigger. And there's the shape of the cloud here. So we're just going to go along here like this. And then from the tree. Now, I'm doing this really quickly. You might see in my other pictures it's a bit more detailed and I put a bit more effort in. I'll take that down a bit more, go over it a lot bigger. Soften the edges up here. Right, so it gives you a bit of a cloud, and like that, spend a bit of time on it, not the 10 seconds that I'm just firing at it. But the next thing I'll do is I'll go to, say, the building here, and I'll start doing the same there. And you can actually start to put little highlights on the building. See, I'll do it a bit more. So if you do it along the top of the building here and down the side, you'll see that it actually changes a bit of the colour. You could do it on the trees off to the left here. That's a bit extreme, but it's something you can work on and create. Like the path down at the side here, you could actually maybe lighten that a bit. Make it stand out a bit more. There's all sorts of things. It can be a very subtle effect, but you can bring something out. So now what we do is we're going to merge all these together, so you've got an overall picture. And if you want to, spend hours on it, really get every detail you want, you know. And then what I'll do is just put a brightness and contrast, and when you do that, we'll see what happens if we darken it down a bit. A little bit of contrast, make it a bit more dramatic. And whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Or other people like it or not, it doesn't matter. It's what you're doing. Create something that you're happy with. Create something that you think's maybe it's worthwhile. You know, it's something. I mean, there's a car here, so I could just take this car out because I really don't want it there. So let's get on the right one. Oh, we're really not on the right one here, so let's do this. And I'll just take this car out and maybe the lamppost as well. Don't need to go over the top with that. It's just, it takes the eye away from it. You don't always want cars and things. Again, this is incredibly quick and I'm doing it really badly and it's really messy. But it gives you an idea that taking pictures is about... That's a bit better. Take the cars away. There's a couple of posts on the left here as well. I'll take them away. But it does give you an idea that you can work on an image and turn it into something else. If you want to replace the sky completely, if you want to just do whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all about creating something and then having an image you can look at and you can go, I like that. That's fine. That's all you need to do. That's good enough. Okay, so remember, shoot with every camera, shoot with any camera, and most of all, have fun. Until next time.